I don't want to coach the NFL. I have no desire, no ambitions.
What's the reason for that?
It's hard for me to want to give a speech and motivate a guy
who's got money.
You getting paid to do this.
Yeah.
You should want to do this. This is your occupation.
Y'all, it's over. The NFL just made the biggest mistake in draft history. And I'm not talking about some random bust or missed prospect. I'm talking about NFL owners, billionaire owners, looking Deion prime time. Sanders dead in his eyes and saying, "We don't want your son." Not, "We're going in a different direction." Not, "He doesn't fit our system." They said, "We don't want your son." Now let me paint this picture for you real quick. Shedeur Sanders.
The challenge, man. I love challenges, and I could not master it. And it frustrated me because I hate to lose, and I hate not mastering something that I know if I just had more time, I could.
This kid just threw for over 4,000 yards and 37 touchdowns at Colorado. He had a 77% completion rate playing behind an offensive line that couldn't block a toddler. He had 0 run game support. His receivers were dropping passes left and right, and still, this young man put up video game numbers. Every draft analyst had him as a top 10 pick. Some were saying top 2. ESPN was running segments about how he could transform a franchise. NFL Network couldn't stop talking about his pro-ready skill set.
I hate to say job because I hate anything. To me, I just told the kids the definition of a job is a commodity that pays you enough to make it to work and back, and you pay your bills.
Then draft night comes, and something strange starts happening. Pick 1, not Shedeur. Pick 2, not Shedeur. Pick 10, 20, 30, nothing. This potential franchise quarterback, the son of a Hall of Famer, sits there watching as team after team passes on him, hour after hour, round after round, until finally the Cleveland Browns take him with the 144th pick. The 144th pick, y'all, for a quarterback who was supposed to go in the top 10.
This is the first time I ever seen it soar. I don't know if you know it, but I'm retired, man. I think every jersey Darren I played in is retired. So I'm pretty familiar with this.
But here's where this story gets dark. According to multiple NFL insiders, and I'm talking people with direct access to team war rooms, this wasn't about football. This wasn't about talent. This was personal. One NFL executive who spoke on condition of anonymity said owners were having secret meetings, private conversations, and the message was clear. We need to teach this family a lesson. A lesson? What kind of lesson?
Any sport that you could fail 7 out of 10 times and become
Great.
and make $200-300 million in it, that's a hard sport. Right.
Well, apparently Deion Sanders had been too involved in the pre-draft process. He'd been telling teams straight up, there are certain organizations my son will not play for. He was protecting his child, being a father. But the NFL saw it differently. They saw it as a threat to their power. See, in the NFL's mind, players, especially rookie players, are supposed to be grateful. They're supposed to take whatever team drafts them and say, "Thank you, sir."
It's been so many things accomplished at this university expeditiously. It's been unbelievable. And I think we should be appreciative. We should be thankful. We have a room full of wonderful people.
They're not supposed to have preferences. They're not supposed to have standards. But Deion Sanders, he played this game for 14 years. He knows which teams treat players like human beings and which ones treat them like property. He knows which coaches develop quarterbacks and which ones destroy them. He knows where the bodies are buried, and he wasn't about to let his son become another casualty. So what did the NFL do? They colluded. Yeah, I said it. Stephen A. Smith said it on national television. Former players are whispering it in private. This was organized retaliation. But wait, it gets even messier. Boomer Esiason, a guy whose own NFL career was nothing to write home about, goes on his radio show and claims team executives found Shedeur off-putting in interviews. Off-putting? How? Well, apparently, the young man had the audacity to wear gold chains, to speak with confidence, to tell teams, if you draft me, be ready to change your culture. Now hold up. Let's examine this for a second. Baker Mayfield planted a flag at midfield and grabbed his crotch on national television. They called him fiery. Johnny Manziel was partying every night and showing up to practice drunk. They called him misunderstood. Eli Manning refused to play for the team that drafted him. They called him strategic. But Shedeur Sanders says, I want to play for a winning organization. Suddenly he's arrogant. Suddenly he's entitled. Suddenly he needs to be put in his place. Former Congressman Jamal Bowman didn't hold back. He went on social media and said what everybody was thinking, but nobody wanted to say. The NFL doesn't like Shedeur Sanders because he wears gold chains and talks like a rapper. Read that again. They don't care that this young man is brilliant, that he can read defenses like a seasoned veteran, that he's a natural leader who turned around a losing program. All they see is the chains, the swagger, the last name. And let's talk about that last name for a minute. Deion Sanders isn't just any former player. This man revolutionized the cornerback position. He won 2 Super Bowls. He's in the Hall of Fame. He played baseball and football at the highest level. He's now a successful college coach who took Colorado from 111 to relevance in 1 season. But more importantly, he never bowed down to anybody. Not owners, not coaches, not the media. He was unapologetically himself from day one. And that's what scares the NFL. They're not afraid of Shedeur's arm strength. They're afraid of his mentality. They're afraid that he inherited his father's refusal to be controlled, his refusal to shrink, his refusal to play by rules that were designed to keep him in his place. But here's where the story takes an interesting turn. The Cleveland Browns, a team that's been searching for a franchise quarterback for decades, might have just pulled off the heist of the century. They're getting a first-round talent for 5th-round money. They're getting a chip on this young man's shoulder the size of Ohio. And Shedeur, he's about to make everybody pay. Think about it. This kid grew up in Deion Sanders' house. He's been preparing for this moment his entire life. He's seen how the game is played, both on and off the field. And now he's got 31 teams worth of motivation. Every snap he takes is going to be a statement. Every touchdown pass is going to be a receipt. Every victory is going to be a reminder of what these owners could have had. But this goes way deeper than football. What we witnessed wasn't just a draft. It was a power play. It was the old guard trying to remind a new generation who's really in charge. It was billionaire owners flexing their muscles to show that no matter how talented you are, no matter how famous your father is, they still control your destiny. At least that's what they think. See, what these owners don't understand is that times have changed. Social media exists. Players have platforms. Fans can see through the BS. And when Shedeur Sanders starts lighting up defenses and leading his team to victories, the whole world is going to remember this moment. They're going to remember how NFL owners tried to blackball a young man because his father wouldn't kiss the ring. They're going to remember how a potential franchise quarterback fell to the 5th round because he had the audacity to know his worth. And most importantly, they're going to watch as Shedeur Sanders does what his daddy did: win games, break records, and change the culture. But let me ask y'all something. Do you really believe this was just about Shedeur being cocky? Or was this the NFL sending a message to every black father who dares to protect his son? To every black athlete who refuses to be grateful for crumbs? Because from where I'm sitting, this looks like the same old game with new players. The same system that's been in place since the league started. The one that says you can be talented but not powerful. You can be successful but not sovereign. You can make millions, but you better remember who signs the checks. The Sanders family said, "We're not playing by those rules anymore." And the NFL's response? They showed their whole hand. They proved that in 2024, a black quarterback still can't be too confident, too prepared, too much like his Hall of Fame father without facing consequences. But here's what's going to happen next. Shedeur Sanders is going to take all this disrespect and turn it into fuel. He's going to use every slight, every whisper, he needs to be humbled, came in as motivation. And when he's standing on that podium holding the Lombardi trophy, when he's breaking records that people said he'd never touch, those same owners who said we don't want your son are going to have to watch from their luxury boxes and deal with it, because you can delay greatness, but you can't deny it. You can try to humble excellence, but you can't hide it. And you can conspire against a legacy, but you can't stop it. The NFL just created their own worst nightmare. They turned a confident young quarterback into a man with something to prove. They gave ammunition to a family that already knew how to win. They picked a fight with primetime son. And if there's one thing we know about the Sanders family, they don't just win battles, they change the whole war. So let me know in the comments, do you think this was really about football? Or did we just witness the NFL trying to put one of their greatest players in his place by going after his son? Because this story isn't over. It's just getting started. And when Shedeur Sanders becomes the superstar we all know he's going to be, remember this moment. Remember who tried to stop him. Remember who doubted him. And remember who had his back when the whole league turned against him. The NFL thought they were teaching the Sanders family a lesson. Instead, they might have just created their next dynasty. And that's what you call poetic justice. This is exactly what happens when you come for the king and miss. When you try to dim a light that was meant to shine. When you forget that some bloodlines aren't just about talent. They're about resilience. The NFL draft wasn't just rigged against Shedeur Sanders. It was rigged against anyone who refuses to play by outdated rules, against any father who dares to protect his son, against any black athlete who walks in knowing their worth. But they forgot one thing. Prime time raised his son to be unbreakable. And now we all get to watch the show.